Good afternoon and welcome to Fast Horses Today. This is a special edition, your Kentucky Derby edition of Fast Horses Today. So let's get started with the Kentucky Derby. It's about 48 hours out from the time of this recording here. So we've got the races, the 12th race at Churchill Downs on Saturday, and not sure if you'll be on track or off track at your local OTB, betting from home on your favorite app at a Kentucky Derby party, but whatever you might be doing, enjoy, and appreciate you watching here today. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, like or dislike, make some comments. I'd love to hear from you. I feel like in order to make good opinions, you've got to hear various opinions to make good opinions and good selections in horse racing. So, like to hear from you. Okay, let's get started here. So the Kentucky Derby, 1.25 miles on the dirt. This is a long race for these horses. Most of them will never run this distance again, so it's certainly a test for them to try and do it for the first time. So we'll go over a few horses here. There's 20 in the field. There is one scratch, so one of the also eligibles did draw in. The 21 did draw in. As of right now, there is one scratch, and that is the 9 horse, who is Encino. So, we're going to have to see. Things might change, in the next 48 hours, but, we're going with what we have here. Okay, so let's go here with the one horse, who is Dornoch. Dornoch is a nice horse here. He's run some good races. I don't have him today. I don't like him to win the Kentucky Derby, but I do think this horse is going to be a pace factor. I think from the one hole, this horse is going to have to use some energy to get out there and keep a position, and maybe be part of the speed of the race, which certainly affects how the race is run, and it also affects the outcome of the race. So Dornoch, I think, is going to be part of the speed, but I don't like him today. The 2 horse, who is Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, this is my selection. Sierra Leone is my selection for the Kentucky Derby. Let me tell you why I like this horse. So, he's 3-1. He's the second choice, so it's not some big secret, but I've got reasons why I like this horse today, on Saturday. So Sierra Leone was purchased for $2.3 million, which is a pretty big purchase price in thoroughbred racing. The guys who own him are some of the richest men in the world. John Magnier, Peter Brandt. So certainly these guys can afford purchases like this, but this is a big purchase price. A lot of times, these big purchases in horse racing don't turn out. Horses just don't end up meeting their expectations of what they were bought for. But I have to say, this horse certainly has turned out. He's run 4 times. First race he ran at Aqueduct last year, back in November. He won his first time out. Broke his maiden nicely. So I'm sure it was a sigh of relief for Chad Brown, the trainer, and for the connections there. I said, well, maybe we have a runner here. They put him in the Remsen Stakes, which is a grade 2 race. Remsen's usually a nice race, nice prep for 2-year-olds over there at Aqueduct. This horse ended up coming second to Dornoch, who I just previously mentioned. I don't give any bad reviews to either of those horses that race. It was a 2-year-old race. They both ran exceptionally well. Like the way Sierra Leone ran, but also he ran like a baby. He's still learning. This horse is still learning. He showed it then, and he showed it in his last race as well. So Sierra Leone lost on the wire that day. They come back about over 2 months later in the Risen Star Stakes at Fairgrounds. That race turned up to be very sloppy, wet, sloppy track. It was nighttime. This horse, I thought, ran a giant race. A horse got out on the lead who was Track Phantom. Track Phantom also is running here in the Derby. Got out to a nice, easy trip, easy lead, set some slow fractions, and Sierra Leone just ran like a professional in this race. Ran towards the back of the field, made a move around the far turn, swung wide, and got up with Tyler Gaffleone. Now, it just seems that nowadays, in the last dozen or so years, horses on the dirt in North America just don't win with these wide sweeping moves. I don't know, they're trained differently, they're bred differently. They don't seem to do that like they did at one time, many moons ago. But Sierra Leone is really a throwback here because he got it done, and he got it done in the slop, which also could have been a test as well. Some horses do like the slop, some horses don't. I don't know that he necessarily liked it that day, but certainly ran through it and got up. Then his most recent race was at Keeneland on April 6th. Keeneland at Lexington, the Bluegrass Stakes, which is a big-time prep race. I thought this horse ran an outstanding race as well. He was coming out of the 10-hole. The jock, Tyler Gaffleone, had, kept him towards the rear of the field. He had to use a little bit to just get himself a position, get on the rail, which shows me that this horse is just not a hopeless closer and I think he could put him where he wants him, which makes this horse, I think, really, more dangerous because I just think the horse is that talented. So horse just weaved through traffic, came into the stretch with another wide sweeping move and got up and won. And I thought he had a lot left in the tank. Again, he ran like a baby. He was veering in and running like a horse that just, is still figuring it out, which makes it really, really a tough proposition for the rest of the field if this horse figures it out on Saturday, because I just think he has that much more talent in the bag. So Sierra Leone is my pick in the Derby. We'll go over a couple other horses here. Mystic Dan, I don't really have much to say about him. I don't like him much here. Catching Freedom has run with Sierra Leone, ran, kind of a nice race with him, came third to Sierra Leone. And then the next time out, this horse won the Louisiana Derby in a nice way. So I do think Catching Freedom has a chance. I would put him in second or third, put him in your exactas or your trifectas. That's the 4, Catching Freedom. The 5, who is Catalytic. Don't have any comments on Catalytic. I just don't see anything there. The 6 horse, who is Just Steel. Dwayne Lucas, who, you heard that name before. Dwayne Lucas certainly had his successes in the Derby. This horse is a 20-1 long shot. Just Steel's a 20-1 long shot. He's got Keith Asmussen on the horse. I think Dwayne Lucas has been putting Asmussen on some horses over this past winter at Oaklawn. I understand these families go way back, and I think Lucas is doing Asmussen a favor by giving him a horse here. He's 20-1. I can't say I like him much. He would be a very much of a long shot here. The 7, Honor Marie. Honor Marie comes out of the Fairgrounds series of races. That's in New Orleans. So he ran with Sierra Leone. He also ran with Catching Freedom. Got beat by both of those. I don't see how he turns the tables on them. The 8 horse, Just a Touch. Just a Touch is an interesting horse here. That's the 8 horse for the Brad Cox barn. Florent Giroux on the horse. So this horse came second last time in the Bluegrass to Sierra Leone. And I thought this horse ran a really good race, for just his third start and first time around 2 turns. So I think this horse definitely shows that he can improve off that last race. He ran well with Sierra Leone, so I give this horse a chance, to get into your exactas and trifectas. The 9 horse is Encino. Encino's scratched, so he's not running today. The 10 horse is T.O. Password. This horse ran a couple times in Japan, and so we're going to talk about the 10 and the 11. These are both Japanese horses, so we can make it one discussion here. So T.O. Password, who is the 10, I don't really have any like for this horse in the Derby. This horse has run twice, 2 races in Japan. Not exactly sure who he ran with. I just don't see the horse coming to Kentucky and winning the Derby with that record. Now the 11 horse, who is Forever Young, also a Japanese horse as well, is a little more interesting. Now this horse ran his first 3 races in Japan, won the 3 races, and then went to the Middle East this past winter. Won the Saudi Derby and then won the UAE Derby. Now, it's been several years now that horses have been coming from that region off the UAE Derby and running in the Kentucky Derby, and they have not had success. So I'd be leery on picking this horse. I think this horse might have the best chance of the horses who have come over from that area on Saturday. But, what gives me hesitation is I watched the 2 races, the Saudi Derby, the UAE Derby. Horse ran nicely. He showed a lot of ability. And then I looked to see who he ran with, and I think it seemed like he ran with horses who are sprinters that came from the United States. The Saudi Derby is a mile race. It's a 1-turn mile, so those are the same like they run at Aqueduct or Belmont, those 1-turn miles. So a lot of times sprinters do have a big chance. It's an elongated sprint, and they run well. So this horse got up by a head that day in the Saudi Derby. Then in the UAE Derby, which is a mile and 3/16, it is a 2-turn race. He ran wide at a little adversity and came up and won nicely, which I always like to see. That it tells me that a horse is talented when they can overcome adversity and win. So he has some talent. I'm not going to select him over some of the American horses in the Derby. We'll have to see some of these horses come over a few more years before we can maybe see one win. So I would put the 11 in your exactas and trifectas, but I would not put them in to win. The 12 was Trek Phantom. They're putting blinkers on this horse, Steve Asmussen barn. This horse, seems to be one way to go. He gets out to the lead and goes as far as he could. He's run with Sierra Leone. He ran with Catching Freedom. Got beat by both of those horses. I think this horse is a pace factor, and I hope he's a pace factor because it'll help make the race for the horse that I like, who is a Sierra Leone. So Track Phantom, can't say that I like him. Can't say that I see him finishing in the top 3 or 4. But would be a pace factor, and will make it tough on some of these other horses. West Saratoga, don't really have a whole lot on this horse. He's 50-1. I see Jesus Castellan is riding this horse. Now, I don't know. This might be Castellan's first ever ride in the Derby. I remember Castellan riding here in Chicago a long, long time ago. I was a young guy. I just have no idea how old Jesus Castellan is, that he's still riding horses. But God bless him, and wish him the best on West Saratoga. But I don't see him, hitting the board either. The 14, who is Endlessly, Michael McCarthy. This horse has been running in California, which I'm very familiar since I follow California pretty closely. He's 30-1. This horse has done his best work on turf and then the synthetic track, and they're giving this horse a shot in the Derby. He's won some preps, so he got the points, that he qualifies. My guess is this is the Ammerman Racing Stable. Ammerman's been around for a long, long time, and I'm not sure how old Mr. Ammerman is, but maybe this is a chance. He wants to take a shot at the Derby, and he's got a horse that qualified, so he put him in. I just don't see this horse transferring to the dirt, on Kentucky Derby Day. But wish him the best. The 15, who is Domestic Product for Chad Brown. Klarovich Stables, these guys are certainly a formidable outfit. They won a ton of races out east, and that's a very formidable outfit. But I think this horse is not as good as his stablemate, who is Sierra Leone. So this horse, he's 30-1. I just see him as an also ran here, but horse that's probably improving, and maybe we'll hear more from him later this year. The 16 is Grand Mo the First, who I don't really have a whole lot on this horse either. He's 50-1. I don't see anything there. I don't even see a long shot chance for the 16. Now let's move over to the 17, who's Fierceness. And Fierceness is your morning line favorite. Fierceness, Todd Pletcher. You've seen Todd Pletcher win Kentucky Derbies before. One of his main men, Mike Rapoli, he owns the horse. We've seen Mike Rapoli win big races, certainly in Breeders' Cup. He's won the Belmont, and we see his entire family, whooping it up and having a great time. So I'm sure they're expecting much of the same on Saturday with this horse. This horse, he's a nice horse by City of Light. We've seen a lot of nice City of Light horses out there the last few years. He broke his maiden big time last year at Saratoga in the slop, so if there is a little moisture in the track, it shouldn't be a problem. Ran in the Champagne as a big favorite, didn't do anything there. I don't know what happened. Sometimes, I guess the start, they had a problem at the start and just didn't do anything there. So that was why this horse was overlooked in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile at Santa Anita back in November, and this horse went off at 16-1 and won the race nicely. So he was a overlooked horse and showed everyone that he's talented. So let's look to this year, where he's run twice at Gulfstream Park. His opener this year was back in February in the Holy Bull. Now this horse got a little bit of a tough start. He got knocked around a little bit and a little bit wide, which I think that's okay. I think horses need to have some adversity and see what they're made of, because generally in the Derby they're going to have adversity. It's a big field. And, you have to see what a horse has in him. So this horse ran all right, ended up coming third that day in the Holy Bull as a huge favorite. And then the next race was the Florida Derby, which I know, this is the race that everyone is banking on him here, why he's the Derby favorite. He ran a big race, got huge speed figures, and ran off and won big. So I'm not knocking this horse off that race. He ran a big race in the Florida Derby. He ran a big speed figure. He drew off to win. Gets John Velasquez on the horse, which John Velasquez we know is one of the best riders in the generation. So this horse is certainly a worthy favorite, and it wouldn't surprise me that he wins. but I'm just going to go against him. I'm thinking that you might see a couple horses, get in there and push the pace some, because that's going to be their chance to win, and this guy's going to be there with them. So, in the stretch, I think he'll be there, but I just feel like Sierra Leone is a special horse, and I think he's going to run by them all. But Fierceness, certainly not. He's a deserving favorite. The 18, who is Stronghold had the Phil D'Amato barn, which Phil D'Amato, familiar with his horses because he runs in California primarily. This horse comes off a win in the Santa Anita Derby, which, Santa Anita Derby is generally one of the best prep races, that you can run in for the Kentucky Derby. And this year, I just think it was not the strongest edition. This horse got up by a neck. I don't think he beat a strong field that day. Probably part of it is the Baffert effect, that, Baffert horses were not allowed in the Derby. So, he didn't have his A-game horses in that Santa Anita Derby. And, this horse, I don't know. I guess bottom line, I don't put a lot of stock in the Santa Anita Derby. So Stronghold, who's number 18, 20-1. I don't see him hitting the board. The 19 horse, who is Resilience. Resilience for Bill Mott. Bill Mott has won a Derby by DQ a couple years ago. And Bill Mott's certainly a great trainer, classy trainer, wins all over the country, wins dirt races, wins turf races, and just, outstanding trainer. Hard to ever go against Bill Mott. I think this horse, is probably on the improve, and that's why I would give him a shot to win, to hit the board. He's got great breeding. By Into Mischief is one of the hottest sires, and then the mother of this horse, Meadow Sweet. I remember Meadow Sweet was a highly touted horse in California a few years back, and she was a nice horse, and this is one of her offspring. So we'll see. This horse, I think, is improving and can get in the money here, the 19 Resilience. The 20, who is Society Man. This horse got beat by Resilience last time in the Wood Memorial. This horse was 105-1, so he was really, looking to blow up the tote board. I can't say I like this horse much. One of the positives here is Frankie Dettori's riding this horse. He's number 20. Dettori is, just outstanding. I know he's ridden a couple derbies in his life, has not won, but the Derby is not was not a big race on Dettori's calendar. He was, generally riding in Europe, around the country, around the world, and has not been in the United States to ride derbies. So, he's looking to ride a Derby, and he is getting to the twilight of his career. Wish Frankie the best, that's for sure. Now, the also eligible horse that did draw in is the 21 Epic Ride. Epic Ride drew in because of the scratch of the 9. So Epic Ride, outside chance. I think he's got a long shot chance, to maybe hit the board third or fourth, something like that. This horse I think is improving and, just has the look of maybe an outside chance. So I would definitely put him into the exactas, trifectas. If you're playing superfectas, I would put him in there just as an outside chance. So let's recap here. The Kentucky Derby. This is the 12th race at Churchill Downs, and I'm going to put a win bet on Sierra Leone, and then I'm going to give you a trifecta key bet here, okay? So what this is, a trifecta, you're going to key Sierra Leone, so Sierra Leone has to win, okay? And then I've got 6 horses behind him. So if you play this for $1, the ticket's the $30 ticket, okay? And this would be the 2 with the 4, 8, 11, 17, 19, and 21. So again, I'll repeat that. It's the 2, Sierra Leone, with the 4, Catching Freedom, and the 8, Just a Touch, and the 17, who is, the 11, we're going to put the 11 in, Forever Young, the 17, who is Fierceness, of course, the 19, who is Resilience, and the 21, who is Epic Ride. So good luck if you're playing this ticket. You play this trifecta key for $1, it will cost you $30. Or if you want to bet it in exactas, you can key the 2 on top of those same horses. That would be $12 if you're playing it for 2. So whatever you decide to do, best of luck to you. I wish you the best of luck. Of course, let's get good trips. Good trips are important in any race, but especially the Kentucky Derby. And let's see some good racing, some safe racing for Kentucky Derby Day today. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you soon. Over the weekend, we'll have some Oaks picks and then some picks for the Derby card. Thank you.